The Feast of Tabernacles, also known as Sukkot, has begun, and Jewish communities all around the world are celebrating. Rabbi Ari Abramowitz shares with us what this feast is all about. This is ALIYAH News. Sukkot, also known as the Feast of Tabernacles, is a powerful reminder of the Jewish people's first great ALIYAH, their 40-year journey through the desert after leaving Egypt, on their way to the Promised Land. During this formative period, the Israelites lived in temporary shelters and experienced total reliance on God, who provided them with food, water, and protection.
Shalom, Johannes and my friends in Ebenezer. Johannes reached out and asked me to share a message from my heart about the holidays season that we're in, these special times that we're in Jewish history, and how could I not? After all of you are playing a very big part in this story. So here in the hills of Judea, the Jewish people, right after Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, we will start building our small, fragile huts called Sukkot. We step out of our permanent homes and live for 7 days under branches with walls that sway in the wind and a roof where the stars shine through. It's called schach. Why? Why do we do this? Because the Feast of Tabernacles, Chag HaSukkot, is not just a holiday. It's a dimension of reality. It is stepping in to God's embrace. The Sukkah reminds us that the clouds of glory that surrounded the Israelites in the desert were real, and they shielded us from the sun. They protected us from our enemies. And the truth is that all of that is more than just a memory. It's prophecy. It's our lives right now. Just as the Sukkah once surrounded Israel, now the land of Israel itself is our Sukkah. Every stone, every vineyard, every mountain ridge is like the walls of the Sukkah, fragile, temporary in appearance, yet indestructible, because God himself dwells within them. To sit in a Sukkah in Judea is to feel sheltered not by walls of wood or stone, not by the illusion of permanence, but by the very presence of Hashem over his people. That's the truth. So you may be wondering what it's like to keep the Feast of Tabernacles here in Judea. So imagine this: families, children, neighbors, all gathered outside in these small huts, eating and singing and sleeping under the stars, soldiers returning from base to eat a meal with their families in their sukkah, farmers bringing the fruits of their harvest and giving thanks. And yet above the joy is a trembling awe, because the sukkah is fragile. Life is fragile. We're reminded that our true security is not in armies or walls, but in God. Here in Judea, where the nations question our right to be, where missiles continue to rain down on our land and our families, the Sukkah becomes a defiant declaration. We are home, under God's protection. Israel is God's Sukkah in this physical world. But Sukkot is not only for Israel. The prophet Zechariah reveals that in the end of days, all nations will ascend to Jerusalem to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. It's already starting to happen. Why? Because the Sukkah is not just Israel's shelter, it's the shelter of all of humanity. The Sukkah proclaims our utter dependence on Hashem. Its fragile walls draw people close, shoulder to shoulder, teaching that true security is not in stone or steel, but in God's embrace. And so, Sukkot becomes the gathering of the nations under one roof, the roof of the God of Israel. When the peoples of the world join this feast, they essentially declare, we too seek refuge beneath the wings of the divine presence. We too choose to enter this story of redemption. So as we sit in Judea in our Sukkot, we call out to you wherever you may be, all the way out in Germany even, wherever you are. Know that distance is only an illusion of the material world. If your heart is bound to Judea, then your soul is here with us. Lift your eyes and behold the very stars that Abraham once counted, for they shine still as witnesses to God's covenant. And understand this, Israel herself is your sukkah, the shelter for all nations in the unfolding plan of heaven. The Feast of Tabernacles is not merely an ancient ritual, it is the rehearsal for redemption, a time when all mankind will stand together, fragile yet protected, fleeting yet eternal, gathered under one canopy, the covering of the God of Israel. So from the hills of Judea, I bless you, my dear friends in Ebenezer. May the shelter of God's sukkah surround you wherever you are. And may the same stars that Avram once counted shine upon your path, reminding you that his covenant endures as you follow in his path towards truth. May you feel his embrace in times of fragility, his protection in moments of fear, and his presence in every breath. And may we all soon gather as one family under his canopy, fragile yet eternal, sheltered by the God of Israel. Chag Sameach. Shalom, my friends. Hope to see you here in Judea.
The story of Sukkot ultimately reminds us that the Jewish people survived their long desert journey not through might or planning, but through God's provision. They also had to trust God's faithfulness to keep them, not being able to store manna for tomorrow as it would spoil. This dependence on God, it ultimately shaped their identity as a people, and its lessons still resonate today. As Israel faces ongoing diplomatic, physical, and spiritual battles, and so many Israelis grapple with anxiety, uncertainty, and mental health struggles, Sukkot is a moment to remember God has not abandoned his people. He remains watchful over Israel, just as he did in the wilderness. He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. To find out more about Rabbi Ari Abramowitz's ministry at the Aragot Farm, visit thelandofisrael.com. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the Ebenezer Operation Exodus YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. See you next time.